Hi guys, I know it's been a while since I've posted and I'm sorry for that. I was sick for a while and I've had a horrible cough that just wouldn't go away. And after that I just kind of kept putting it off because it's always a little nerve-wracking to go on camera. But I have a couple things I want to talk about today. First, I want to welcome all the new members to my site. I'm very glad to have you. You've had a lot of great ideas and things to say so far, so keep it up, keep posting, keep sharing all your thoughts. It's been really interesting to read, and I do read about most of it. It's really, eventually I read all of it. It's been really great. The next thing I want to talk about is the debate over how to view maladaptive daydreaming. And I know it's frustrating to have a new condition, and on one hand, you recognize the need for help, but on the other hand, you don't want to be seen as diseased. So believe me, I've been abnormal all my life, and I'm as sick of labels as anyone. I mean, I've been going to doctors since I was 13 years old, and I'm 30. And I've been told I've had, depression, anxiety, autism spectrum, OCD, everything, it seems. I'm really tired of how the general public views people with any sort of psychological difference. And I think it's all kind of childish and petty. I mean, to call someone crazy and want to change them. I think we all have our issues that we need help with. People don't have to be sick to need some sort of a help. I mean, if every person who has any kind of issue or problem, or even every person who goes to seek help from is sick, then we're all sick. I mean, it's kind of silly. So, but I think asking for help and learning to understand your brain is about the healthiest thing you can do. Honestly, after years and years of talking to doctors and listening to a lot of BS and crap diagnoses, I'm not even sure there's such a thing as a mental disorder. I mean, to be bold and blunt, I think it's all just a bunch of adjectives. I think that any condition should be looked at as just a collection of adjectives at most. And I mean, labeling does serve a purpose, but just a very minute one. So I think that labeling a condition is just a way, it just helps us to look it up so we can try and see what things have worked for certain people. That's all. It's not, I know it's really petty to give anything a label, and but it's only as petty as how you think of it. I mean, if you really think that a person is crazy or whatever, then you've got issues anyway. I mean, it has a purpose, and that purpose is to help people look things up and figure out how to help each other. And if we don't have a name for it, then no one's going to know how to search for it and find the help. So, I mean, try not to get too caught up in that. I understand, not wanting to be labeled, but it does serve its little purpose. So, are we diseased, or do we just have some weird trait? Oh, we're definitely not diseased. I mean, it's just a condition where our brains think differently. We think more. And, I mean, I think you know that there's a lot of people in this world who could really use to have this problem. I mean, to think more. Of all the things you could be doing, thinking is probably the least offensive. I mean, our brains, they work. They're on overdrive. And some of us start daydreaming as an escape from, abuse, or just a lot of craziness or whatever. Maybe we got lonely. There's lots of reasons. Some people just got inspired. They saw something really cool in a movie or in a book or on TV somewhere, and so they just got inspired, and it inspired their creativity, and they just, started being creative, and that's a beautiful thing, what we're doing in our fantasy worlds. I mean, regardless of if it's one world or if it's different, daydreams about our lives or whatever it is, I mean, it's a pretty powerful and wonderful thing. It's not a problem for everyone, But everyone does need to pay attention, because like anything, it can get out of control. I know. I mean, for me, it's been out of control since I was a tiny kid. It's been really out of control. So those of you who are sitting there going, what am I going to do? I'm nuts. I can't get out of this. I understand that. It's been so bad for me that I knew it was a real problem when I was 7 or 8 or 9 years old. And by the time I was a teenager, 13, 14, really young, I was in full-on panic mode. I was sure that I was nuts, and I was scared to death that somebody would find out, and they would lock me away, and they would call me nuts. And frankly, the people I was with, they probably would have called me nuts. They called me nuts anyway, and they didn't even know. So I understand that, but we have to stand up for ourselves. We're not nuts. Our brains function on a different level, and I think that thinking of it as a trait, even if we call it a disorder, is a good thing. That's more accurate. So, anyway, it does need to be managed. It definitely needs to be managed. Even if it's working great for you, you need to keep an eye out, because it can get out of control. We owe it to ourselves to pay attention to our brains and make sure they're working at their best at all times. For even the worst of us, it still has some creative and therapeutic benefits. If it's under control and you're experiencing only those benefits, then great. More power to you. In fact, if you have any tips that you want to share, please do. You don't have to have it severely. Like I do. It doesn't have to be a severe addiction for you to post. You can post, you can post your daydreams, you can post anything you want on my site. It really doesn't matter. I keep speaking up. I want to include everyone, so we don't only see the negative. This condition exists on a very wide spectrum, as you've probably gathered by now. And if people who maintain healthy outer lives don't speak up and be counted, well, then it's going to end up looking like a disorder. So think of it that way. If you don't want to be seen as a horrible addiction, then people who are not horribly addicted need to speak up more and be counted. The reality is, if we do one day get it into the DSM, it will probably be called a disorder. Try, if you can, not to get too hung up on that. I would like to change that. I would like the whole psychological community to stop seeing everyone with any mental condition as diseased, frankly, or any mental difference, really. If I had my way, and I fully intend to keep trying to get it my way, then it'll all one day just be a bunch of adjectives. I really want to change that, and you know how nuts I am. I'm always fighting with people and arguing to get things changed. I'm not very complacent. I'm not just going to sit around and let people call us whatever. I'm going to keep trying. But if it gets called a disorder, just try and just know otherwise and speak up. Okay? Now, another thing that keeps coming up is, will drug companies pounce on this? Well, yeah, I'm sure they will try to pounce on it, but who cares? I really don't care. Let them do what they want. I've been given a lot of drugs in my life. I tried them all because I wanted to give every treatment a chance. They didn't work, so I told my docs and I stopped. Were my doctors thrilled about that? No. They all whined and pissed and moaned and told me I was doing the wrong thing. Well, guess what? That's not up to them. That's up to me. I know what works and what doesn't, and if something doesn't work, I'm going to quit after I've given it a valid shot. And I think trying drugs for a few months, I think that's a fair shot. So the only drugs I take are for sleep. Drugs don't work for me otherwise. Anyway, so yeah, we have to be active participants in our own healing, or we simply won't heal from anything, ever. So, just keep an open mind and try things, You're the boss. If something doesn't work, you can quit. What feels right is your barometer for what is right. Okay? So don't worry. If drug companies try and pounce and throw drugs at it, if you don't want to take them, don't take them. And if your doctor isn't listening to you, tell them to shove it and go find another doctor. Okay, guys? So, anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. I just want to, I mean, don't worry. You know, put all your ideas out there, but no one's going to boss me around, and I hope they won't boss you around either. And just, you know, keep trying. Let me know if you have any suggestions or you want anything. You know, I'm always around. I'm always obsessively around doing stuff. Okay? Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.